Three men are walking through a forest when one of them finds a magic lamp, and they all stand round as he rubs it. And he's like, "Oh my god, it's a genie!" And the genie says, "You have summoned me. I have been trapped in my temple for 3,000 years. For this, I will grant each of you 3 wishes. Choose carefully." The first man almost instantly says, "I wish I could have £1 billion." And like that, a checking account balance appears in front of him. The genie says, "You have £1 billion. Are you filming this? Okay. And so the man goes, "Wow, I'm rich." The second man, after a bit more time, says, No. I wish that I could have the most money in the world. I wish I was the richest man in the world." And like that, a checking account comes up in front of him. £134 billion. He was now the richest man in the world. He looked pretty pleased with himself. Now the third man spent the longest time of them all. And he says to the genie after a while, "I wish that my left hand could continuously rotate counterclockwise." And like that, his arm begins to rotate counterclockwise. Now the genie says, "Okay, now for your second wish. What would you like? Choose carefully." The first man says, "I wish that I could be healthy forever." And like that, the pain in his knees went. His cataract disappeared. He appeared healthy and sprightly again. So he seems pretty pleased with himself, basically. The second man, after a bit more time, says, No. I wish that I could be 25 forever. Now we'd thought this through. By being 25 forever, he would always keep his health as a 25-year-old, pretty much. Like that, he began to lose his wrinkles. He was around 35, say, so it was just coming on. And then his physique changed. It was brilliant. Now the third man spent much more time than the other two thinking, and he says, No. I wish that my right arm would continuously rotate counterclockwise, and like that, his arms begin to rotate in opposite directions, back and forth, back and forth. Now the genie says, "You have one final wish. Choose very carefully." The first man says, "I wish I could have the most beautiful wife in the world." And like that, a beautiful woman appears in front of him and goes over to him and gives him a kiss. And he's like, "Oh my god, this is amazing. This is actually amazing." The second man spends a bit more time thinking. He says, "No, I wish I was the most beautiful and charming man in the world." And like that, his facial physique changes, his chest bulks out, he appears stronger, fitter, healthier, and he immediately speaks to the other man's wife saying, "Hello, how are you doing?" And she's like, "Wow." So, that leaves the first two gone. Now the third man, the genie says to him, "Please choose carefully. This is your final wish." And so the man spends far longer than any others, 10 minutes thinking, and he says, "I wish that my head would continuously nod up and down." And like that, his head begins to nod up and down as his arms begin to rotate in opposite directions, one clockwise, one anti-clockwise. The men part ways. Many years later, they're at a reunion and they see each other. The first man says to the second man, "Things are going amazingly. With the money I had, £1 billion, I reinvested, made a business, and I'm now one of the richest men in the world. I've really done well for myself. And my wife is beautiful, I have plenty of kids, and let me tell you, I'm fit as a fiddle." Now the second man, he still looks 25. He looks as young as the day they met all those years ago. And he says, "I'm doing brilliantly. I've had plenty of win in my life, and I'm still the richest man in the world, yet I'm known as the most charitable. I've done so many philanthropic things. I'm famous for being so great." And then the third man comes. And he walks up to them with his head nodding and his arms rotating. And he says to them, as he goes up to them, and he says, "Guys, I think I fucked up.